Okay, so Fab Feb is finally here. I feel like we've been talking about this for a while, but it's finally here. And I just want to lay a little bit of groundwork first before we dive in, okay? So my vision really for our time together this month is to go back to the basics, okay? Some of you on this call have been sharing doTERRA or selling doTERRA or doing whatever with doTERRA for many years. Other of you on this call are maybe newer to it or brand new. And some of you maybe are even on this call just kind of being like, what is this really all about, right? Just kind of checking it out. And I'm telling you that this is the right place for any of those seasons, right? Any of those different, not seasons, but you know, people are all doing this differently, okay? But it doesn't matter where you are on the journey. This is really a great place to be, okay? We're gonna learn more, connect. It's always good to be together when we're doing things like this. Some of you have already heard me use this analogy, but I think it's worth repeating. So let's think of our doTERRA businesses as a puzzle right now. Okay, think of it as a puzzle, and it's like we've got some missing pieces, and that is one of the most frustrating things. So we've got some missing pieces, and we also have pieces that weren't like cut well when the puzzle was made, and they're not fitting well. They need a little love, okay? So we're going back to the basics right now to deal with our missing puzzle pieces and with the ones that aren't fitting well. So we're gonna have these 5 Sunday night Zoom calls. This is week 1. And these next skills that I'm going to list, or this process, are our missing puzzle pieces, okay, or ones that we're working on. So week 1, what we're doing this week is prepping and getting started. Week 2, we're going to talk about sampling, following up, and inviting. Week 3, we'll do our one-on-one class with a business basics intro. Week 4 is wellness consults, and week 5, we're going to talk about continuing education. So right this Sunday night and through March 1st, you guys have your Sunday nights blocked off. I want you to block off an hour. We might not use it all. We'll use the same Zoom number. I'll have better internet, and it'll be great. So logistics, I texted you all this, but you really, some of our workbooks look different than others, but make sure you have your workbook, okay, that I sent you. Make sure you're in the Fab Feb group. I think the only person on here, there's just one person who hasn't accepted their invite. So hopefully everybody's in there, but just in case you want to save it to your shortcuts, there it is in the chat box. And you're also going to be receiving communications from either me or from your leader via text. So those are the different ways we're communicating. Okay, prizes. If this doesn't make sense to you, talk with your leader because they might have worked something out for you. But I'm offering $50 to anybody who's on live all 5 weeks and who completes homeworks or assignments that I give, okay? All right. Let's lay a little groundwork. I've got 3 things I'm going to ask of you. 3 things. That's it. I don't really feel like that's much. Maybe it is. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to ask is that you show up. I know that there are so many places you would probably rather be right now. You'd probably be, rather be sitting at the Super Bowl or reading a book, or not at the Super Bowl, but watching it. There are many places. I realize that. I totally get it. But I'm committing 5 Sunday nights to you for free, and I'm asking you to show up because this is a worthwhile investment in yourself, in your current customers, and in your future customers, okay? All right, so number 1 was show up. Number 2, I want you to lean in. You probably won't love everything that I say. Everything that I say probably isn't going to make your heart soar. Okay, I can promise you that. If you don't know that yet, then you haven't worked with me. I'm just kidding. We are a group of very unique people. We're all wired differently. And I think sometimes you're going to hear things and you're going to think, oh, I don't know about that. And sometimes you might hear me say something and have like a visceral reaction. Okay, either way, I want you to take a deep breath. Okay, and I want you to keep an open mind, and maybe that means even trying it if you don't want to. Maybe it means asking yourself, why did I have that reaction in the first place? Okay, I just think this is a good practice in our businesses. This is a good practice in life to take a minute when we're feeling like, I don't know about that, and to just really think, right? And probably ultimately to lean in a little bit. Okay, I'm not going to ask you to do anything crazy. Just bear with me. Okay, so 2 is lean in. 3, I need you to ask questions and to interact. Turn your video on, engage with me, please. I am begging you. If you have ever been on a Zoom and you've talked to like names or phone symbols, you know it's not fun. It is simply not fun. Okay, so I'm going to be asking questions with your videos on. I can see you raise your hand or interact with me. Use the chat box. Just please, let's make this interactive, because I don't want to just be the talking head. And I know that a lot of you already have friendships and relationships. You will build more as we're going through this together. And it will be a great way to connect. Okay, so what was number one, guys? What are the 3 things I'm asking of you?
Show up.
Boom, show up. What else?
Do it and lean in.
I love it. And the last one?
Ask questions.
I'm so happy I could cry. That was beautiful. Seriously, I loved it. Okay, the last little caveat that I'm going to give here is I am not perfect. I just was 4 minutes late to the call. I do not have this all figured out. I am not running my business perfectly. None of us are. Okay, so grace for yourself, grace for each other. We're all in it together, okay? All right, here's my first question where I need a good good interaction. Who's listened to some or any or all of the daily mentor calls? Who's listened to some of them? Okay, good. Who's listened to, I know for sure one person. Who's listened to all 50? Laura Witt, I love you. I love you so much. I knew, right? Cheers. I think that deserves like a really sincere clap. Thank you, Laura Witt. Okay, so who on here has no idea what the daily mentor calls are? It's okay. Okay, good. This is good. I like your honesty, Dee. I like it. Okay, so the daily mentor calls were created by Elise Chedevy. She is a triple diamond. She's a really incredible and I'd say generous-hearted leader in doTERRA. And this, the idea of back to the basics actually is all in her daily mentor calls. They're free. There are 50 of them, and they're audio recordings. You can just listen to them. So what we're going to be doing is very much in keeping with those daily mentor calls. So whether you've listened to them or you haven't yet, or you don't even know what they are, that is going to be a helpful tool for you, because you can honestly never hear it enough. I think we'd all agree. I think it's great reinforcement. And I'm sorry, I think we just proved really well on this call, myself included. I'm on call 20, myself included, that we're not going to listen to all 50 of those calls unless we're Laura Whipperman. So we're going to work on this together, okay? Okay, we love the Laura Whippermans of the world so much. If you're not subscribed to the daily mentor calls, or you have like no idea where any of it is, here it is in the chat box. Remember, they're free. So that will help you, okay? All right, does anybody have any questions so far? I should check. What? Yes, Gary wants you to know that this is tied to my trip to Utah, where I spent a week of my life away from him. Apparently that's still like a little raw. I'm just kidding. But yes, this is connected to, yes, off of my notes and what I learned and all that stuff, okay? All right, so today we're gonna focus on prepping well, okay? Effective prepping, whether that's like an hour worth of it or 5 Sunday nights worth of it, like that, effective prepping can literally save you from years of heartache. Okay, it's really quite true. There are many of us on this call who maybe have been doing this a little longer, and I know we would all agree that we're really grateful for our journey and what we've learned along the way. But I think that we all probably would have started out maybe a little differently too. Maybe not. Maybe that's just me. But I think if you're just kind of getting started, this is really exciting for you. So if you go to page 6 of your workbook, hopefully if you do that, we're all looking at the same page 6, would be my hope. Okay, what is it? Well, I know it says part 1 on the top, but what does it look like we're going to be talking about today? That's a trick question. Oh, does it show a picture? Yes, names list. So if you're looking at this, I actually really want you to be looking at this. So this is what hopefully your page 6 looks like. Sorry if it's a little bit off, people. Okay, so creating your names list. Okay, some of you might already be having a little bit of a visceral reaction. Raise your hand if you're already like, Amy, I think I'm actually busy. Yep, we've got some visceral reactions. It's okay. This is a very safe place. There's no judgment from me on this, okay? So I'm going to ask you to lean in for a minute with me into that feeling, okay? First, let me ask, who here has created a names list like in the past 6 months? Does some people on here have like a fresh names list? Yeah, a couple of us do. That's awesome. Okay, so that's really good. It's cool if you have a fresh one. That's totally great. Who doesn't have a names list at all? Okay, some people. Yeah, a little bit. Okay, right. This is fair. This is fair. It's like when Whitney goes like this, just fair. Okay, so we're going to work on this together. And I can't decide if I want to do this first or if I want to, no, this is what I want to ask. What are some things that you're thinking? Those of you who are having a little bit of a reaction to this, it's okay if you're not. Bear with the people who are, because you'll meet people who have a hard time writing a names list. So tell me, what are some things that you guys are thinking when I say a names list? Be honest.
I feel like it's like a hunting list. Like, here are the people I'm going after instead of like authentic.
Perfect. I love it. Good. Well, you've got a lot of head nodding, Lindsay. Okay, what else are people thinking?
You guys are going to laugh at me, but I feel like we all have a names list when we do things. It's just writing it down that might seem scary. Like when you find something really super exciting, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to tell this person. And you could probably think of like 5 to 7 people right off the bat. You just don't write them down. You just like text them right away, or, so it's like seeing it written down, like that action, I feel like is maybe kind of scary.
Yeah, no, I think that's really good. That's not silly. That's great. Lisa Hacker says anyone and everybody, people to possibly connect with. Yes, perfect. Emily Orsi is calling out Danielle and Kelsey. This is like turned into, I'm just kidding, we're all smiling, that they only know 4 people. And Kelsey, yeah, so Kelsey, did you know that she wrote that and then you put in the chat box? So she's not sure she knows 100 people. Apparently we're all on the same wavelength there. Okay, so good. Anything else? Any other things that people want to share?
I would say kind of along Heidi's line that if you write them down, then you actually have to reach out and contact them. Because remember, I made that list and you looked at it in Salt Lake, you're like, you have a great one. And I'm like, yeah, but I really don't want to call those people. Right? So, yeah.
True. Right. So like, what if I told you, so can we just free ourselves up? Can we just like mentally go to a different place on this? And the place I'm inviting you to is, can we make a list for who we're like sending our Christmas cards to? Like, does it have to be some big, scary, like, it's because you've all gone down the rabbit trail of like, I'm going to sell them things. What is Amy going to make me do with this list? Like, you're gone to the races. And I just want you to stay right here and be like, oh, who do I know? Like, let's say emotionally unattached. So did I ask you guys to have tea tree oil? Did I make that up? Mm-hmm. If you have your Melaleuca or your tea tree oil, all of you thinking really negative thoughts about what I've asked you to do, I want you to put some at the top of your head, swipe a little bit on your forehead. Let's not be too hard on ourselves, because the reality is this, right? I want you to just say here, creating your Christmas card list. But the reality is this: if you play this all the way out in a true, like a positive belief pattern, it is a list of 100 very lucky people that they might receive your care and service and attention. That's truly what it is. Like, there's not a single person on this list that's going to do something weird or has like bad intentions. Like, that's not how this group of people exists. So even if you do have to play it all the way out, let's do it in a positive way. Let's be kind to ourselves. And remember that truly for somebody to get even an ounce of your essential oil knowledge and care and attention would be a real gift to those 100 people. Okay. So, but let's just keep it real. Let's keep it real simple. Just pretend it's a Christmas card list. I don't even send Christmas cards, but just like, oh, okay, these are people I know. All right. Can we all agree to do that? Can we just like detach ourselves from the heaviness of that for a second? Okay. I like this. Okay. So I'm literally going to start the timer. I know some of you already have a fresh names list. If you have your names list and you're like Amy, what am I going to do? Message me, just me in the chat box, and we'll talk. Okay. We'll chit chat about what you could do. So I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes, and I'm going to put on the screen, I'm going to share to the screen doTERRA's memory jogger. So if you're having a hard time, you can kind of look at that. The other thing I want to say, yeah, current customers can't go on there. Okay, fair enough. Is that fair? And if you're like, I don't know, 100 people, can you get to 10? And then when you get to 10, be like, could I get to 20? I bet I could. I don't think there's like a single person on this call that has like fewer than 100 friends on Facebook. Really? Do we have fewer than 100 friends on Facebook? Do some people on here have fewer than 100 friends on Facebook? Screenshot it for me. Screenshot it for me. Okay. Do you have less than 100 contacts in your phone? Screenshot it for me. It's okay. I'm not shaming you. I'm just genuinely asking you. So I'm setting the timer. I'm going to put up the memory jogger, and just write down your Christmas card list. Okay, my friends. Does anybody have any other questions about that? Okay, let me share my screen. Danielle's sweating. Danielle, it's a freaking Christmas card list. Do you sweat when you send Christmas cards to people? Do you sweat? Nobody.
See, the issue is it's not that. It's like, for me, it's an intimate thing. And so I'm like, yeah, I have a ton of friends on Facebook, but I would never, ever contact over half of them for anything like this. You don't know.
So this is good. This is good. You don't know what I'm going to ask you to do. Can you trust me? Can you just trust me for a minute? You don't know what I'm going to ask you to do with them. I'm not going to come sit on your sweet body and make you do weird things and like call these people. Okay. Can we just trust Amy? Can we just 1 ounce? Okay. I hear you. Okay. I promise I'm not going to make you do anything weird. Make your Christmas card. Okay. I actually don't know where the memory jogger is. Here it is. That was a good question, Danielle. I shot you down lovingly. I know her well. You guys can all ask questions. I'm not always that cool. Okay. Here we go. Actually, I can't see the chat now. This is terrible. Okay, here we go.
Amy, would you be able to put that list somewhere in our Facebook group, maybe?
Yeah. Let me make a note that I said I would do that. Gary, can I have paper and a pen, please? Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. We're not muted. Okay. Gary says he hasn't had to do anything crazy yet, so maybe that he's trying to make me look trustworthy. We've got like 3 minutes left. Okay, if people want to keep writing for a minute, I'm going to unmute myself. I'll post that memory jogger in the group. Okay, so I want to hear some thoughts about that. You got to do it for a little bit, right? And what about maybe even like, how many names did people get down on our list? Danielle, did we get some names on our Christmas card list? She's moved the camera up so I can't even like really see. I'm just kidding. I know you're working. Seriously though, did any put a name down on their Christmas card list? Are you like me, not sending Christmas cards this year? No Christmas cards.
So Amy, I didn't come up with a ton of names, and for me, I feel like I'm struggling a little bit because I just moved where I live like 3 years ago. And so a lot of my friends are long distance, from where I used to live, which is a couple hours away. So, obviously I've made some friends in the last 3 years, but not really like tons of people. And a lot of them I don't know that I know well enough to reach out. They're more like acquaintances.
That is a very good question. Long distance and local people can be on your list because we'll talk about ways that you can serve people that aren't even, or connect with people that aren't local to you. Does that help?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
so you can draw from your whole lifetime, all those wonderful connections you've made.
Okay.
Wendy made it to 25. I like it. Good work, Wendo. Kelsey made it to 12. Kelsey, how many? So sorry, can you just humor me? Can you humor me? Oh, I want to know how many people you have on your Facebook friend. How many Facebook friends you have? Oh, she's like, I don't want to answer that. No, I'm just kidding. She's looking. I like it. Okay, she's looking that up too. Good. Meg made it to 46. Good work, Meg. Good work. Good work.
So Wendy's gonna laugh at me, but I actually kind of thought of it as like a wedding invitation list. And I was like, well, I wouldn't invite people that I wouldn't be willing to talk to, that I'm not close with. And I actually got almost 50. So
good work, Melanie. Melanie, way to mentally go a place that you were like, yeah, okay, let's mix this up. I also would like to point out, for people who have a hard time with the names list, I've called this like, this isn't necessarily something that's a difficult task for me. So I have to like think like my people. Like, a list of people I want to like love and embrace and like things like that. Like, I know I'm being silly, but you could just call it like a list of people I want to love on, a list of people I want to connect with. You know, like it doesn't have to be a names list if you don't want to call it that. That was awesome, Mallory. Thanks for sharing. Alta made it to 48. Marianne, she added 30 to her list. That was good, Marianne. Okay, Kelsey, do you have your number yet? What is it?
8. Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Okay. 826.
826?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so can you talk us through, because I think there are a lot of people on this call that this might resonate with. What keeps you, tell me a little bit about the 12 on your names list and the 826 on your Facebook.
I really don't like talking to that many people.
So the 12 is not necessarily that you don't, like, you do know more people. It's that you're more comfortable connecting maybe deeply with 12 people.
Yeah, probably that.
Would you even have like casual conversation with the other people on your Facebook, or like not even really like?
It's not very likely.
Okay, so they're there, but Kelsey's like, that doesn't really fill my tank. Is that a fair? That's fair.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's fair. So I wanted to just thank you for letting me ask you a little bit about that. I don't even have that many friends. I bet if each one of us put I don't even know how many Facebook friends I have. I bet if you just put your Facebook friends list in and I get it. Some are like people that I friended in my like Bethel freshman friend group. Like, I get it. I know they're not like, I know this for sure. But, oh, there's my chat. Yes. Okay. 591. Wendy has 591 friends on your Facebook. Good. So if we can, right, we know people. So thank you for playing along with the names list game. One of the reasons, here's my personal opinion on this. One of the reasons I think making a names list is so valuable is because I actually think it's pretty energizing when you start putting names down on paper, or maybe not energizing when you're doing it, but maybe after the fact to be like, I really do know a lot of people. Like, I do know people and I have connections. And I think it's a very concrete way. Like Heidi said, our names list is really up here, right? It exists, but there's something very powerful about being like, these are the people. Okay. So I think it gives some confidence if you push through and you lean them a little bit. Okay, you guys ready for the next part of the names list? Are you hanging with me? Some are hanging with me. Okay, we're gonna actually, now here's the next visceral reaction. We're gonna rank people. Okay, I know, we get some good. Okay, so can we just talk about what that means first? So who here feels like they have all the time in the world to grow their doTERRA business and they're not crunched for time at all and they're never going to run out of time or energy, like, ever? Like, who feels like that all the time? Like, I have so much time, right? Probably no one. Like, maybe there's some seasons where you're like, oh, but right? Not very few of us are feeling that way. So I want you to put your time and your energy and your talents into areas that are going to give you great confidence and great results and great connections. Okay. So we're going to talk about the characteristics of people that are most likely to partner with you in sharing doTERRA, selling doTERRA, growing a doTERRA business, whatever you want to call it. Who are the people that are most likely? And so this is important because how many of us have like Aunt Edna on our front line that she's been to every class, she's come to everything, and we poured all our time and energy into her, and she has zero characteristics of somebody who will partner with you. Maybe like loves natural things. Maybe she's a 1. Okay. We love Aunt Edna, but you are like, I am getting all of my energy sucked out by doTERRA, and my husband's frustrated that I'm tired and it's not getting me anywhere because you're working with Aunt Edna. So let's just really think about this, right? I'm really trying to help set you up for, I'm really just hang with me. Okay. All right. So characteristic number 1, this is it's actually on the same page. We're still on the same page. So characteristic number 1 is that they're female. Most builders, there are exceptions to all of this. Okay. Most builders are female. We have like, it's more natural for me to hand a woman a sample of oil than it is for Gary to. Like, that will always be true. Elise even said, if you're a guy and you want to build a doTERRA business, go find women and help them, right? So it's just kind of part of who we are. Are there successful men? Yes, that's great for them. So number 1 is female. Number 2 has a money, time, or purpose need. Elise was pretty clear that like, it's really about the money need. That's really like a strong driver when somebody is going to put the time and energy into this. If somebody doesn't have a huge financial need, which most people do, but if somebody doesn't, it can be a little bit trickier to navigate. But there's still people who want time freedom, who have financially where they want to be, but are just like working like 80 hours a week, right? And then purpose, right? Like to be part of something like doTERRA is literally revolutionizing healthcare. Like our homes, everybody on this call, like the fabric of your home has been changed by the way that you use oils. Your health has been changed, things like that. Okay. So money, time, and purpose need is number 2. Ages 30 to 35. Okay. So under 30, you haven't lived a lot of places. You haven't had a lot of jobs, your networks are smaller, you might not have kids, but you feel invincible and your body doesn't hurt at all and you have no health issues. And guess what? All your friends feel that same way too. They all feel the same way too. So a little bit trickier, under 30. After 55, you're thinking more about like slowing down, retiring. It's not really the time in your life that most people start something new. Most people, okay? So again, we've got outliers, but that's number 3. Number 4, interested in natural things. And just remember that if they are interested in natural things, typically their more market is interested in natural things too, okay? Number 5 would be has business or sales experience. And one of the reasons that this is important is because there's a very big difference between an employee mindset and an entrepreneur mindset, right? This can be hard to teach. If you have somebody who's just like, oh yeah, I'm going to go like da, 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 that's less of like, employees are typically used to being told what to do. There's a different mindset there. 6 would be socially influential. You can be soft-spoken and influential. You like, it doesn't have to be a specific type of person, but somebody who's influential, like whatever they do, people around them listen and they typically do it too. So that's 6. And 7 is a supportive spouse. It's probably, Elise said, is probably the least important, but it's still very important because honestly, to go to Diamond and with somebody pulling you down the whole way there is hard, right? It's hard when you have that dynamic. Okay, so those are the 7 things. So let's practice here. So I need a volunteer. I'm not going to ask you to do anything weird. Who wants to volunteer for me? Lindsay does. Lindsay, let's rank you, okay, on our little system. So we're going to look as a group here. You can nod your heads or whatever. Is Lindsay a female? Boom. She's got a 1. Lindsay, do you have a money, time, or purpose need? Check. Are you ages 30 to 55? Check. Are you interested in natural things? She's a 4, my friends. Do you have business or sales experience? 5. Are you socially, it's always a little hard to ask somebody, are you socially influential?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you are. And do you have a supportive spouse?
Yes.
My friends, we found a 7. I'm not even a 7. Good work, Lindsay. All right. Who else wants it? Let's rank somebody else. Guys, that wasn't scary. Melissa, let's rank you. Oh, can you hear me? Is that okay to ask?
Oh,
Okay, are you a female?
yes.
Do you have a money, time, or purpose need?
Yes.
Are you ages 30 to 55?
Nope.
Are you interested in natural things?
Yes.
Do you have business or sales experience?
No.
Are you socially influential?
Yes.
Do you have a supportive spouse?
Yes.
Melissa's a 5. I'd hang with her. I'd spend some time with her. I think that's probably a good decision.
One
right?
of those
So,
outliers.
yes, there's always exceptions. There's always outliers. So I don't want you to look at this for yourself and feel defeated. I'm not a 7. Okay. Nobody panic here. But when you're looking at who you want to connect with, and if you want to be intentional about where you're spending your time, then it's good to know what people's number is. Does that make sense? We are just so drawn to going for the lowest hanging fruit, the Aunt Edna's that we love. And I'm serious, guys. How many people on here, raise your hand if you have ended up spending all your time and energy, and if you ranked that person in your brain, they aren't going to explode your business, right? Okay, so we've all been there. All right, so I know we're not going to have, I want you to like rank 2 people on your list, okay? So just go right now and practice ranking 2 people. You can look at your little list. I sat in a coffee shop and I was like, you should see me counting off. I was driving my mother and Sonia, not so. But just rank 2 people on your list. See if you could find a 7. I have some 1s. I have some 2s. See if you can find somebody. Wendy and Kelsey asked a really good question. If you don't know what the, so if you're like, don't know somebody well enough, maybe I have Facebook friends or people that were more, you make your best guess, right? An educated guess. So you'll have to do a little improvising, or just don't give them a number if you know, or like you might know, like, I don't know if they're going to have a supportive spouse because they're not doing it, but do you think their spouse would be supportive if they did? Those are good questions.
So if somebody's not married, would you still count that so that it's not lowering the number?
Yeah, that's how did I handle that? I think, yeah, because they're not going to lower, I think you could still give them a point for it, because they're not going to have somebody that's necessarily, the whole point is, are they going to have somebody that's like negative, that's making it harder for them? So I think that's totally fair. Are there other questions about the idea of ranking, or thoughts on that, or honest opinions or reactions? Kelsey wrote in here that she says she doesn't like rating people. So we can maybe talk a little bit about that.
So I have a few people on my list who use oils, but they use like a different brand. How would I like rank them on that list?
Yeah, so they would still potentially essentially be a new customer to you. So they're like a blank slate. So like interested in natural things, yes. So you can follow the tip right straight through that. That's a good question. Do you guys see how it seems? I understand it seems really odd to sit on here and talk about creating a names list and ranking people. I get it. I get it. It's like if you were just be like, I met with my team last night and we made a list of people and we ranked them or rated them. Like I totally get that feels strange, because I feel like what we're missing because you've just stripped it away from the actual heart and intention of what we're trying to do. Like there are people on this call that are like, I want more finances in my life because it's going to allow me to adopt children, or I want more like this is like, you can't, I think it's an unfair thing to do to just strip away the heart of what's going on here and the goal. And that the fact really is, if I or you or whoever it is working with you just sends you out there and says, best of luck, there is a very slim chance that you and the people you're interacting with are going to have a positive experience. You're not. You're going to be like, this doesn't work. There's going to be people. It's going to be frustrating for you and for those people. So at some point, you have to kind of like be willing to be like, yeah, I am going to be intentional and make a names list, and then think about who would be really good, meaningful people to connect with. Of course, we're all helping our Aunt Edna's. Just because Aunt Edna's a 2 or a 1 doesn't mean we don't love her and care for her. It means you don't spend 12 hours a week with Aunt Edna helping her try to share oils with her 70-year-old friends. It means maybe once a month you go do aroma touch hand techniques and care for them that way. Or you pop into her, I'm being like really stereotypical, just work with me here. I don't really mean it that way. You pop into her knitting group and you connect. Like it just means you're going to approach that differently. So I hope you hear that and you see that. Yes, Emily's right, Mallory. Any kind of socially influential person doesn't have to be on the media.
Amy, can I just throw something in?
Mm-hmm.
I had a hard time doing this. Amy was right. When we were sitting in the coffee shop and Amy was over there just able to like conceptualize what we were doing. And I'm so relational and I struggled a lot with it. But I have to say, in the 3 weeks that we've been home, it's been so freeing to me to have a better understanding of maybe what some of the people that I've been working with are saying and really wanting. And for me to stop putting my expectations or whatever on top of them. I don't know, it gave me a really, even as a highly relational person, it gave me a much better grasp on what I'm doing. I don't know how else to say that, and how to let people be where they want to be.
Thank you. I thought that was great. Yeah, I think it's true. We all, on some level, even though I'm like, this isn't a major issue for me, creating a names list, we all have a reaction to this on some level. And that's why I'm really asking you to lean in, because I really am telling you there's good fruit. There's good fruit from having to look at this like a little bit with like our critical thinking glasses, and not just from like the emotional heart piece. It's good. You can bring in both, but it really is helpful. Lisa, if somebody with a higher score lives across the country, yeah, you're just going to use technology. So rate them the same way. All of my 6s and 7s are nowhere on my current list, are not anywhere near me. So that's a really good question. Okay. Any other questions on that part? Yeah, Wendy. Oh, go ahead. Oh, yep.
Can I say one thing? So I've been doing doTERRA as a business for 4 years now this month, and actually just like very recently in the last like 2 months did I make a names list for that exact reason that Melissa is saying. I have heard so many times make a name, and I'm just like, I won't do it because I'm with Lindsay of feeling like it's like a hunting list. So I really am, I'm like open to what this can look like and what, how to utilize it differently. But if you're feeling uncomfortable, like it's okay. You're not alone. I haven't gotten to the other side of it like Melissa, but I really do understand the feeling.
So Wendy says, I struggle so much with placing my boundaries and issues on other people. Wendy, can you unmute yourself and tell us more about this?
Yeah, it's really hard for me to look at this list of people and think, yeah, I'm positive this person would be an excellent addition to my team, because like I can go through these ranks and go, yep, okay, they'd be really great. But then it takes 1 second for me to go, yeah, but maybe they don't have a need financially, or I'm making them do this, or well, I've got more time because I don't have a full-time job. I'm a substitute teacher. And so it's like one quick turn of my brain, and all of a sudden I can list 15 reasons why this person probably is going to say no. So it's really not worth asking or talking to about it.
Thanks, Wendy. It's amazing how quickly our brains swirl around, right? That's why I was like, put your Melaleuca on. I mean, it's like we still all do it, but it really is helpful to like, because we like, whoa, we're gone. And that's why, so I get it. I really do. Lisa had a great nugget in the chat box, or just like an realization that people that she vaguely knows or wouldn't think to reach out to are actually a 6 or 7 once she ranks them. Okay, so the number 4 on the page that we're looking at in our workbook, the last part of that is to actually create a plan for each name. So that's like, what is a normal, let me just say it this way. What's a normal mode of contact for you with that person? Is it a phone call? Do you see them in person? So like, that's what I would put in that space. Like, well, I don't normally see, I normally text with this person or whatever. Okay. So normal mode of contact. And then just play with me, peer people. If you were going to talk to them about doTERRA first, would you talk to them about the product or business first? And I realize almost everybody on here is just going to put product all the way down on the list, and that's fine. There might be a couple that you would be like, it depends. I understand that it depends. That's why it's an option. But those are the other 2 pieces of creating that list. Okay. Questions about that? I've stunned you all to silence. I'm kidding.
Do you just write it, like when you made yours, Amy, do you write it right next to the person's name, or is this like a separate situation?
Mine's in a Google Sheet. So it's just in the next like cell box.
Okay.
Next cell. Is how I did it. Okay. Like everybody's like, week 1. Boo. Okay.
Can I just say something, Amy?
Yes, go for it.
So I've been building this business going on 8 years, and I've never made a hundreds names list. So for anyone who is like, oh my gosh, this is crazy, I usually have like 5, and I'm not saying my way is right or wrong. I usually have like 5 to 7 people that I want to be working with. So over time, that list has grown. It's not that I sat down and wrote all 100 names at once. So if there's like a way for people to chunk it out, I would say go with what your heart is telling you to do on that. And sometimes, like, I don't know, I think the wording that we choose, like rate or rank, if that's like triggering anybody in any way, I would just say look at those 7 things and purposely pray for who God has for you to work with in your business, because you are in a unique position to create financial time for your family and freedom financially for like other people. So when you're first starting out in being intentional, if you've just gotten into doTERRA, it makes sense to be strategic when sharing, because you want that solid foundation. You want people that understand, timing and understand the opportunity and want that financial freedom for their family. A lot of people have good paying jobs, but they don't have like the time freedom. So I think just, looking at tracking that from the start and just being intentional when you're reaching out and being more purpose driven when you're doing that, like this is all just being intentional. That's all I wanted to say.
Thanks, Heidi. Yeah, I think that, so for me personally, when I went and made my names list, some of you saw me probably writing Fierce Leaders, it's like 530 people. And the truth is there are people on that list that were part of, like in 2018 through 2019, the series of me just picking up the phone and being like, hey, I know this is out of the blue, that whole kind of a process. So they technically haven't had like a sample or an experience yet, which we'll get to. So some of those people are on the list too, right? So when you're doing this long enough, like, yeah, I have like new people I meet, but it's like people who I've like done that with, or people who like I haven't talked to in a really long time. And so like really, truly for me, actually, I'm not even gonna tell you, if you want to know what I'm doing to reach out to those people, and I'm not even reaching out. Well, if you want to know what I'm doing in a totally not weird way, I'm telling you tomorrow night on the Fierce Leader And we actually are, I think it'll be really enlightening. Like no part of how I interact with these people makes me even remotely sweaty. And I don't even like making phone calls. I'm not even picking up the phone and calling them, but I'm doing it in a way with my list that I think you guys would find probably interesting. So yeah, we're all coming at it from different places, but the whole point of these 5 weeks is if I boiled it down to the most simple explanation of what it is and what you do, and like if you were to have to look at somebody and say, this is step 1, step 2, like somebody's like, hey, I want to do this with you. And you're like, okay, these are the steps that we do in the process that we follow. These are the basics. So the basics are that you put names down on paper, or you call it a different name, or you type them out, your names. And we each do that differently, right? Some of us, it takes longer. Some of us can do it quickly. And then you think about, whether you want to call it ranking or rating them, you have to think about the people that are going to be the most life-giving for you to partner with. Like, there are people out there that are going to be life-giving, and there are people out there that are going to be kind of like dragging somebody through a marathon, okay? And you need to know who are my customers, who are my builders up front, right? It will help you lay the expectations a little bit. And some people might blow them out of the water, and there's totally grace and room for that. So where, like I said, guys, I just want you to lean in a little bit. I want you to think about this a little bit. When you have like a reaction to something, I do hope this really is maybe I didn't do a good enough job of that, but this is a place where you can share that and we can kind of talk through it, because almost everybody on that screen either is thinking it or has felt that. Okay. Okay. Does anybody else have questions or something they want to say?
I was just going to say, I wish you all could have seen Elise there when she was doing this, because basically what she rolled out are tools, more tools in our belt. And what you want to call them is irrelevant. But I have to tell you from my personal experience, when she started talking about what people who are 50 and older are thinking about in general, I was like, oh my gosh, she just named the thing. I've got all these people on my team that are 50 and over, and I've been trying to work with them and help them and spending so much time with them. And they just are thinking about retiring. They're trying to think about how to get out of they want to be with their grandchildren. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just learned a tool. I just learned how to work with somebody smarter and better in a way that will honor their desire. And I had never really thought about it that way. So it might sound cold and calculating, but I think these are tools that you can use in your own way to help you grow your business.
Okay, so as we wrap up, I want to share one thing for next week, and I want to share some different things that might be helpful for you to have by the time we get to next Sunday night. So next Sunday is when we are going to talk about sampling, what that process looks like, some things, really key things that we were missing, right? So I think it would be really helpful if you had some quarter or 5A strands by Sunday night. I'm sure they're on Amazon Prime. You can get them from an oil supply company. I mean, there's a lot of different places. So if you need help with that, let me know. But it would probably be good to get some. It would be my recommendation to you. We will be talking about possibly including like A to Z guides or like little guides. Even doTERRA has them, like Healthy Can Be Simple. So there's different places. If you have questions about that, reach out to your leader or to me. But those would probably be helpful to have. And really, truly, tomorrow night on the Fierce Leader call, I would encourage you to be on. We're going to do something fun. It's different. It's kind of like last month when we connected and we kind of did an activity together. And I thought it was fun. So if you need the registration link for that or whatever, let me know on that. So your assignment, right? So you were on the call live. People are on the call live and complete their assignments or whatever I asked them to do. $50, okay? So the assignment is a picture of your names list. So it's got your names on it. It has them ranked. It has a number by them. How you're going to contact them, what feels most. Doesn't mean I'm saying you're going to do it. I'm going to sit on you, make you do it. But just play along. Like what method of contact would be most comfortable, and then would you talk to them about the product or the business, okay? So that would go into the Facebook group. So look for my post there and you'll be able to see that, but it goes into that Fab Feb Facebook group. I'm not going to ask 28 people to share that on a group text. That would be annoying. Questions? Do people have questions? Linz, go for it.
So do you do the ranking for each person and you do the contact plan for each person on the list, or just the top people, or
For all of them.
for all 100?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Correct. Each individual person gets their own customized plan because no two are the same. So they'll each get their own. That's a good question. Other questions? Oh, Mallory asked that. That hopefully answers your question, Mallory. Okay. All right. I will put up the recording. If you have any other questions that pop up, probably best is to text individually rather than the group text, or to ask in the Facebook group. But we'll keep in touch that way. And then let's talk, we'll go to a happier topic next week with sampling. Okay. Okay. And we'll keep having fun. It will all be good. Go put on some more oils, and I need an emoji on my computer that has huge eyes. Yes. All right. So thank you for being on. I have no idea what happened with Super Bowl, so go see if it's still going on, and we'll talk next week. Okay. Bye.